Hi, I'm Holly Kovo from Fitting Fitness In. I'm a personal trainer and nutrition specialist, and welcome to Get Healthy with Holly. Today on my show, I have Margaret Koch, who is the executive director of the Virginia Thurston Healing Garden, and I have John Barrett, who is a personal trainer who works with clients at the Healing Garden. Welcome to my show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Well, Margaret, I'm going to start with you. The Healing Garden is in Harvard, Mass, and it's on a beautiful piece of land where there's beautiful gardens, but it's not just a garden, is it?
No, it's not. It's a fully comprehensive cancer support center. So we have a freestanding facility that we own with treatment rooms and program and classrooms, spaces for patients to get together and to work on supportive care while they're either in treatment or after treatment for cancer.
Oh, that's great. So today's episode, we're talking about exercise and disease. So what kind of exercise classes or activities do you have at the Healing Garden?
So exercise is really important for cancer patients who are either in treatment or post-treatment. We offer several different kinds throughout the year. Patients can participate in yoga classes, either restorative yoga, gentle yoga. We also offer Tai Chi and Qigong, which are really wonderful mindfulness, breath work and gentle movement. That's really great for pain management, for building resiliency. It also helps with depression and anxiety, which are really common in cancer patients.
Yes.
And then we have this wonderful partnership with John and other trainers who come and offer true exercise classes, which, believe it or not, even while a cancer patient is in treatment and has pain, it's recommended that they exercise because it decreases pain and helps them with the side effects of the disease and the treatment.
I know my dad has cancer and he's going through treatments right now. He's 88, and when I go to the doctor's appointments with him and the doctor says you need to exercise, I just smile, and my dad thinks I'm in cahoots with the doctor. I really think he does, but I'm like, no, it is good. And it's hard though, because I know he's weak.
Right.
But you have to get up and do something.
Right. Now there is so much empirical data. They've researched, randomized patients that are, doing their normal activity versus those that are truly engaging in professional help to, work with a trainer. Those people have better quality of life and improved statuses in their mood disturbances, in their sleep ability, and all those things contribute to their ability to tolerate treatment and to recover and heal from a chronic illness like cancer.
Exactly. So what other services do you offer at the Healing Garden?
So in addition to the exercise, which we know is really, really important, we offer support groups, individual counseling and family counseling. We have classes and programs that are educational or experiential. So for people who don't want to do talk therapy in a support group or in a one-to-one counselor, they can do expressive art therapy. And that's really very useful for processing and thinking about reframing what has happened in your life and what has changed for you and how you might adapt to that. There are retreats that we do for young adults who are trying to still work while they're receiving treatment or after treatment, but they still need that support to get through the psychosocial part of, the emotional part of having cancer.
There's also massage.
There's the one-on-one body work, which is wonderful. We have oncology massage. They do shiatsu, acupuncture, lymphatic drainage massage. There's 35 different therapists that work with us and offer different modalities of care that are all, really, really helpful in symptom management.
That's fantastic. And I know that you have a very active fundraiser coming up on October 6th. You want to tell us about it?
Yes, I'm training. We have, on October 6th, we have our perennial Walk and Ride to Thrive. So that includes a 5K walk or a half-century or full-century metric ride through the hills and more hills than valleys of Neshoba Valley. So my husband has got me out training several times a week to climb hills. It's a great strength builder. It's good cardio work. I'm pretty much a couch potato and I'm not an athlete, but if cancer patients can go through their treatment, I can do this to help raise funds so that this facility is here to serve these communities that we live and work in.
Right, and I'll be there helping out as well.
Great.
So we can go to the website. If anyone wants more information, the website is healinggardensupport.org. And we'll go over that again at the end of the session. So how did you come about to meet John Barrett, and how did he come to the Healing Garden?
He fell out of the sky. He was an angel. He showed up.
It's a metaphor, isn't it?
He showed up. I honestly, John found us. We did not find him. And we were delighted because he has a remarkable personal story and journey, and he brings a wealth of heartfelt interest in the cancer population and supporting them. So you can tell more than I can about how you found us.
Tell us how you came to the Healing Garden and how you decided to work specifically with cancer patients or cancer clients.
Well, I've been, throughout my life, I've really done a lot of exercises, and it's part of our life. My wife and I have run the Boston Marathon several times. We trekked to the base camp Mount Everest several years ago.
Wow.
So we, really were into exercise. And on the way to retirement, when I was working with IBM, I was planning to become a personal trainer and work with the elderly. But on that last year, I caught cancer. So I was diagnosed.
Cancer. That's a way of
Or it
putting
caught me, something. But it was a type of pancreatic cancer. And I went through the operation. I had 5 months of chemo, followed by 5 weeks of daily radiation and chemo. But because of exercise, 10 months after the Whipple procedure, I was hiking the Great Wall of China.
Wow.
So you're right, I'm a great believer in exercise. Not only what it can do for your body, but what it can do for your spirit. Mm-hmm. And particularly when it comes to cancer patients, we have to find things that give us a sense of control. and something that we have a feeling that it's working, we're doing this, and exercise seems to do that. So I became certified, and I went through the school in Boston, which was actually a 90-day training program with half time in the classrooms, half time with a seasoned instructor. And then after that, called Nancy Campbell at Dana-Farber and said, "Hey, I really want to work with the cancer survivors, and can I volunteer on a weekly basis to learn from you?" And she said, "Sure." And so we started then. It was about 2014, April 2014. And she said, "How long do you want to do this?" And I said, "Well, as long as you can stand me." So we're in 5 years now, where I go there on a weekly basis and I sit in on consults and I talk to guys and ladies about the importance of exercise. Mm-hmm. So I'm a great believer in exercise as a way of not only coping with this, but staying as well as you can, and your quality of life. And Mega's right, it does temper medication, mm-hmm. And it does minimize some of the symptoms that are associated with cancer and with the chemo that you're taking.
I always say exercise is the fountain of youth.
Oh, you're.
And we don't call them elderly anymore; they're active agers.
Excuse
agers.
me.
Well, I teach a lot of senior fitness classes, and they're active agers.
I like that phrase.
So is that certification through Livestrong?
It's a certification that is certified in the states of New York and Massachusetts. It's the American Academy for Personal Trainers.
Oh, okay.
Off of Boylston Street. And the reason I chose them, in the continuum of, as you know, in personal training, the continuum is from a test to a degree.
Yeah.
And this was sort of in between, where I could get experience, I could get instruction, I could get folks who know what they're doing, and I could create a context, a framework, which is what I really wanted. And what I do is help people create their own training program. That's my intent. I don't want them necessarily to be codependent on me. Use me as a resource.
Right.
And embrace it. Own your own experience here.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how different is it then working with a cancer survivor versus with a client who is not survived cancer, who's a healthy client?
It's pretty significant, and the significance is in how you approach it. With a person who's off the street, I can sort of, and I have them go through some assessments. I have them go through a core stability and a balance and a range of motion assessment. Because I just don't want to take people's word about how fit they are, you know.
Well, we all do that. You need to do the assessments first and figure out what you have to start with.
Right. So I find after I do all that, some of the major differences are where they start, and progressives are so critical in this. For example, you know, some of the basic exercises you have people do are push-ups or planks or squats. But push-ups, you start with wall push-ups, and then you go to counter push-ups, and then you go to floor with the knees bent, and then you go to the floor. So progressing them in a way that they're successful in building strength at the same time.
Right.
That's the difference. So what you start with cancer survivors and patients is you start at a lower level in terms of doing the exercise. So to say, instead of doing a plank, they may not be ready for that given surgery. You put them on your back, you have them do heel touches. So again, they're working on this structure, on the core in the process. That's the real difference.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So how receptive are the clients to exercise?
You know, they really, and there's a variation. I have to say, the best way for me to add to put this in context is I see the people that want to exercise. You know, so I don't see the people that don't necessarily want to exercise, you know. So the folks that do want to exercise, it's more a question of helping them create the habit.
Oh, that's it exactly.
And so what I do, you know, and I try to minimize it. I'm going to do 30 minutes here of a program that's going to include upper, lower body, and core, some stretching. I'm going to ask you to do some endurance, about 150 minutes a week, etc. And then we're going to do 2 together. I'm going to let you go for 3 weeks. I'm going to come back and check and see how things are going. You know? And it's still, you know, I'm thinking, God, they're going to do this, but you know, we're all human beings.
That's right. Unless they have accountability to somebody, it doesn't always happen.
The nice thing, though, at the Healing Garden is that the clients who don't come to you because they're not really interested have these guys as models, you know, mentors to sort of look at through the doorway and say, well, that person doesn't look that different than me. And we talk all the time about the primary things that a cancer survivor should be paying attention to their exercise, to their sleep, to their mental health, and to their nutrition, their weight management. You know, all those things are things we have control over.
They really are.
And when they're together at the Healing Garden, they're with other men and women with all different types of cancers, all different body shapes, all different, you know, experiences, but they learn from watching each other and talking to each other. That modeling is happening in this community that you see at the Healing Garden. So when there's a cooking class going on and you can smell the food over there and you can kind of hear what the instructor's talking about, you know, you might lean in and say, I guess I could try that. So
of course, all those things that you just explained are what we should do on a regular basis anyway.
Anybody should be doing these things.
Or with disease, right?
The only difference there between folks who have not had cancer and those who have, and this is one thing I really push on when I talk to folks, is when you're looking at exercise, you really have to start looking at who you're going to be, not who you were. And it's really critical psychologically to help create the perception or the framework of, you have a chance to prove some people wrong here.
You know? Some people like that challenge. Huh? Don't tell me I can't do something, because I'm going to do it.
So I'm more, that psychological thing is really, really important to get them to look forward and not behind. Not what they're losing, what are they gaining, who are they going to be, etc. And I really talk, particularly with guys, because in guys, when they exercise, emotions tend to surface. And then you can be authentic. Then you can have the real conversation.
You know, as women too, I don't know, you know, how many people I have worked with that all of a sudden they start breaking down crying.
Yes.
You know, because they get to a point and all of a sudden, boom,
Yeah.
everything explodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is true. Now, do you feel that, or do your clients tell you that they feel that the exercise is helping their healing, or giving them more energy towards it?
It varies. If they stick with me a little bit, they do. You know, because they're not going to see an effect if they do it consistently. And I focus primarily on strength training. If they do that consistently, at least 2 to 3 times a week for 3 weeks, they're going to start feeling the effects in that 3rd week.
Yes.
Yeah, you know. So
3 weeks.
if they, and I check back and they do. Most of them say, you know, it's working. I'm doing and then I try to say, well, how does this affect your daily life? When you're picking up groceries, when you're lifting things, when you're lifting your grandchildren, and that when I connect it to personal life, then they start seeing the results, as you know.
Yes, in class, you know, a wood chop. I call it a wood chop, or it's picking up the groceries and putting it in the cabinet.
Right.
Or what I like to say, it's picking up my carry-on luggage and putting it in the overhead bin because I'm going on a trip. You know, that's exactly that. You relate it to their everyday life, and it's functional exercise then.
Yeah.
And they get to appreciate it, and they get to see the effects, and that's where the commitment occurs.
So are there any particular exercises that your clients like better than others?
There is actually, and I shouldn't have been totally surprised at this, but I use a series of modalities, as I'm sure you use, kettlebells and dumbbells and et cetera, and the TRX strap.
Yes.
The TRX strap for ladies who are recovering from breast cancer, that TRX stretch, that cross stretch, they love it. It's just because you can just sort of ease out there with that and just stretch that whole upper body that has been through that physical trauma and that operation. That is the one I was surprised at, wow. They really like that
because they're very tight there.
Yes.
So the other thing, though, with the TRX is they're afraid because they have to hold up their body weight.
Precisely.
You know, so then all right, well, you can do a staggered stance, you know, and not have to hold up your whole body weight. But they're like, I have to hold up my body? I don't know.
and you know, I find that as a vehicle to help them gain confidence back in their body again. Because what cancer does is it really undermines that confidence I have in my body. And that's another way of saying, okay, let's build that confidence again in doing this in whatever way we can. I love the TRX tool. It's a great tool.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really
And
is.
they look at it and they're like, what are you doing with that? But it's cool. Do you work on nutrition with your clients?
I do not. I'm not certified nutritionist. I mean, I'll make some suggestions, but that's not something I feel competent in. If they ask me what I'm doing, I'll share that, but I don't make recommendations. No.
Okay. Other than making sure that they eat something an hour before working out, and then maybe eat something afterwards, like perhaps a protein smoothie.
Oh yes, the protein smoothies, yes.
And so this is a great segue into our kitchen segment where we're going to be making a few protein smoothies. And would you guys like to join me in the kitchen?
I would love to join you.
That would be awesome. Today we're going to make banana berry smoothies, and the first one I'm going to make is a vegan one. And we start with a cup of frozen berries. Now in here I have strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. It's berry-licious. And the reason I chose all these berries is because they have so much to offer. I mean, blueberries have protein, fiber, vitamin K1, C, manganese. Strawberries are very high in vitamin C, fiber, potassium, manganese, antioxidants, which is really great to help fight cancer. Raspberries are full of minerals and vitamins, also antioxidants. Blackberries, vitamin C, vitamin K, manganese, and fibers. So we're going to put these in our blender, handy dandy blender here. Okay.
Do you use them frozen for a reason?
Because then it makes it cold and it makes it thicker. And I'm going to use a cup of almond milk and a frozen banana. Now, when you freeze a banana, you want to make sure you slice it first and freeze it in slices, because otherwise you have a big chunk of banana and it's a little hard to blend, although this little ninja here is quite a powerful little ninja, so hopefully it will not have a problem. And these were starting to melt a little bit. Now, the other thing that I'm going to put in here are chia seeds. So chia seeds you can get at any of your local stores, actually. This is the Bob's Red Mill version. And you want to use chia seeds if you want to put a little extra protein in there. Also, chia seeds are full of energy. As a matter of fact, the Mayans call chia is the word for strength. And the Mayans used to give a spoonful of this to their warriors so that they could run longer.
It's amazing.
It gives you more sustainable energy. And I can tell you, we made chia pudding, which I've made on the show in the past, but I had it for dinner one time, or dessert after dinner. And my husband and I were like, why to wait till 2 o'clock in the morning? So I don't recommend it as a dessert after dinner, but it's great in the morning and it's great at lunchtime. So this is 2 tablespoons of chia seed, and this would be a great addition to smoothies for your kids. If you're making them in the morning, then they go to school and they have all that energy.
So with all that energy, would you do this smoothie before exercising or after?
No, I would do it after. So it's good to eat at least an hour before exercising, but the reason you want to do a protein smoothie afterwards is because you've broken down your muscles during your workout, and protein rebuilds those muscles. Oh. So it's great to eat or drink a smoothie like within an hour after working out, a hard workout, because it's going to help rebuild your muscles.
Oh, good to know.
Okay, so careful, this is going to be a little loud. So let's blend it. That looks good.
That looks delicious.
That's our little ninja warrior here.
Colorful.
Very colorful. Now, you could go a little longer if you want to make sure that all those chia seeds are liquefied, but we're going to pour it in here. So it's a little thicker when you have frozen berries. And the bananas really make it thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't that look great? Okay.
It's like you should eat it with a spoon.
You could, but we'll let it sit for a minute because we're going to make our next smoothie, which is going to have Greek yogurt. Now we're going to make the smoothie with Greek yogurt. So we have plain Greek yogurt here, just 1 container. We're going to do a 1/2 cup of the berries this time, and our banana. Can you grab the rest of the banana out of the freezer? And we're going to do 1/2 of a banana. So this smoothie is really for 1-person smoothie, a breakfast smoothie. And we have a little almond milk here. In case it's too thick, then we want to thin it out a little bit. Now, the Chobani yogurt that I'm using is plain yogurt. If you want to make it a little sweeter, you could add a little honey to it. If you want to start with something a little sweeter, you could use maybe vanilla Chobani yogurt. If you're making this for the teenagers to go off to school with, they might want it a little bit sweeter. So we're going to use our bananas. The other thing is, with this smoothie, the Chobani yogurt, the Greek yogurt, has more protein. So this smoothie is going to give us 12 grams of protein, whereas the vegan smoothie that I made will only give us 7 or 8 grams of protein. So there's a difference there, and that's why I'm making this. Okay, so our fruit, same fruit, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, 1/2 a banana, a little bit of almond milk. This is a 1/4 cup. We'll see how much we might need, and just 1 container of Chobani yogurt. So let's throw in these, the bananas, the yogurt.
It's so simple. These are things that anybody can have at home at all times, just ready to go when you want to make one.
And I'm all about simple, easy recipes because you know what? I'm a working mom. I mean, although my kids are out now, but still, as you're working, you just want to make things simple, but healthy. So there are definitely those healthy options. Let's make sure that gets down far enough. And I'm going to pour just a little bit of this in here to start, and then we'll add more if we need it. All right. Make sure I got this right. And I'm just going to hold this over here because this one has a missing thing. So
you don't want to wear it?
no. So that's really quite thick. We might want to do a little bit more almond milk. I'll just put that. So that was a 1/4 cup. Now you want to smooth it out a little bit with that almond milk, because if you're going to be drinking this, you want to make it thin enough to drink. Although that's still pretty thick, isn't it? Isn't it interesting? It's the same berries in here, but it's definitely lighter. That's the yogurt.
The yogurt that's added to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing is, if you're hot, it's a nice cold after exercise drink.
Yep.
Cools
Definitely.
you down, refreshing.
You should be hot. You should have had a good workout.
You should sweat, huh?
You should definitely sweat. So that is banana berry smoothie. This one is with Greek yogurt, and you want to grab the other one, our vegan one that is just with the almond milk.
They both look so pretty and delicious.
Don't they look good?
They
and
do.
healthy.
Yeah.
Great. So, Margaret, I want to really thank you for being on the show today, and thank you and John for what you do for people going through cancer. I really appreciate that.
Well, it was a pleasure to be on the show with you. I'm happy to endorse exercise and healthy eating and protein smoothies. Those are all the things that we care about teaching the general population about, and especially cancer patients.
That's right.
So thank you for the work that you do, too.
Thank you. And if you want to find out more about the Virginia Thurston Healing Garden, or more about the Ride to Thrive and Perennial Walk on October 6th, then you can go to their website, healinggardensupport.org. And if you'd like to find the recipes for these smoothies that I made today, you can go to my website, fittingfitnessin.com. Thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Get Healthy with Holly.